is if we can raise this up to their challenge and get them all both in kilts. I have to find some 75 people here, so invite your friends, get the word out, and let's try to do it before the end of the year. I do want to, let's announcement later. So anyway, without any further ado, I am so pleased that I was actually able to interview this young lady and introduce her to Tim and to Elias to see if she would be a good speaker for us, because we have a little protocol that if you want to speak, you have to be able to want to interview you to see if it's what you have, you can pay it forward, and if you have something to share that's worthwhile for the group. So, today we have Laura Wilson. Laura is an international coach, life coach, who specializes in relationship coaching. She is a graduate of the world-renowned International Coaching Academy, and she has recently launched her 3-year program, Dating with Intention. The hiring process she's here to talk to us about is taking your relationship to a higher level. So let's welcome Laura.
That's cool. You have time to move back because I have to pass these out. Pass those down. Okay, I know he doesn't want me hiding behind this thing. Okay, hey everyone.
Hi, Laura.
Don't these guys look handsome and masculine today?
Thank you for the compliment and the kind words.
So I'm Laura the Love Coach, and my company is called Spirited Transitions, and I have the best job in the world because I get to support people in finding their ideal partner that they can be ecstatically happy with for the rest of their lives. So this is what I get to do, and I love it. Today I'm going to talk to you about human needs and motivation. I'm going to talk to you about changing our thinking around our experiences. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we all need to get over ourselves and the importance of setting an intention for the highest purpose. So why am I a relationship coach? The reason that I went into relationship coaching is because I really believe that relationships are the foundation on which everything in our lives rests. Whenever, my whole life, people have come to me and they've talked to me about their relationships. Even when I was a teenager and I didn't have a clue, people would still come to me and talk to me about their relationships. And what I observed is that when someone is experiencing a relationship that's not supporting them, one where they feel kind of squashed or not treated with love and respect, where they're not really cherished for who they are, it takes every part of their life down. It takes it to a place where they're very stressed out, like they can't focus, they can't think straight, right? They're struggle with their stress levels go up because all they're thinking about is, oh, I've got all this conflict at home and I just can't deal with it. It gets really stressful for them. So it takes every part down. When they're really stressed out, they can't focus at work. When you can't focus at work, you don't produce as well, and when you don't produce as well, you don't make as much money. So it really hinders our lives when we're not experiencing wonderful relationships. Then on the flip side of that, of course, is when you're in a relationship that really fully supports you, with someone who accepts you just the way that you are, they're your best friend, and you know that they're always going to be there for you, it creates exactly the opposite effect. So what happens is we experience a lot of peace, like purpose in our life. We have this sense of, I know where I belong, and I'm good. And it takes every part of our lives up to a higher level, to where you're able to focus more. You're kind of freed up a little bit energetically because because you're not worried about stuff at home, And so you're able to be very productive at work, and you actually better health, less stress. I'm looking at the health coach over here. So you have less stress, you have better health, you live longer, and you actually do make more money because you're more productive. So I support people in creating these awesome relationships where they get to have that. I want to introduce, who knows what Maslow's hierarchy of needs is? Anybody? Yay! Okay, one person. Anybody else? Okay. Oh, good. You told us last time. No, I did not actually. No, I didn't. So, what this is, in the 1950s, there was a psychologist named Abraham Maslow who developed this chart, which basically talks about our human needs and motivations and where we are. And he actually later changed it. This is the original one that I passed out today, but he later changed it in the 1970s. He added 3 more. But for the sake of today's conversation, I'm just going to keep it simple. We're going to go with these 5. So the reason that it's in like a pyramid is because in order for us to be motivated to do the next thing up, the ones underneath have to be a solid foundation, right? So I'm just going to talk about them really quick and go through them. And I want to talk a little bit about how having great relationships will support you on all of these lower levels, right? So that you can actually reach that highest level, which is self-actualization. So let's start with the first one, which is biological and physiological needs. So that's just your body's needs. These are the basics. This is, you have to have food, you have to have shelter, right? You have to have sex. He's waiting for that. And one of the ways that our relationships help us with that is that it provides that, right? Shelter, water, what you got lost there.
Sex, then food, so
Well, if you like,
We're a very open-minded group, Laura. Don't worry about it.
Say what?
We're a very open-minded
We're
group.
open-minded, right? But we're keeping it all, PG.
It's all right.
Not really. Anyway, okay, so that's the first one, is making sure that all of those needs are met. So you know that whenever you're really hungry, you need to eat, you can't really think about anything else. That's your highest motivation at that moment, is I need to eat, I need to take care of this, right? And it's true of sex too. Some people just put that out there. And T-Bird back there. Thank you. So the next one up, the next one up is our needs to feel safe. We want to feel secure. And so when we know that when we feel safe in our home, or we know that we have a job, so at the end of the month, or at the end of the week, whatever, we get a paycheck, that gives us a sense of security. And so it's kind of like when you're in that place, like when your security is gone, that's your highest priority, right? I lost my job, oh my gosh, I gotta figure out a way to make some money right now so I can get paid so that I can pay my rent, because I need to have my security again. And how does a relationship help us with that? Anybody have any ideas? No? Okay.
Marry rich.
You could marry rich, but it never hurts to have a second income, so having a wonderful relationship is actually great with that. But then there's also just that basic...
I would think stability
Yes!
is one of your things there, and if you're in a decent, good
Committed relationship, you know that you're stable. It kind of gives you a foundation. That's right. And also, you know that somebody always has your back.
Yeah.
So you always feel protected in that way. The next one up is the need for love and belonging. That's where we create really deep, intimate connections. That's where we make really good friendships. We develop deeper, stronger connections with people, and we have a sense that we belong. And when you're with someone who loves you exactly for who you are, you have that 100%. You have that sense of, this is where I belong. Gives me kind of a place in the world to where I feel really good about that. The next one is our esteem needs. We have to feel that we're valued in society. We have to feel that we have, that we are contributing in some way, that we have value. And I was thinking about my mother, who actually, she very much associated herself with being a teacher. And so for her, that was her esteem. That was like, I'm a teacher. That gives me some status. I feel good about that. And that was kind of where she drew on that. And when we have, again, I'm going to come back to the relationships because I am a So when you have a relationship that supports you and who you are, it does boost up your self-esteem because you know that you're okay just exactly the way you are. Nobody's expecting you to change. You're loved for you. It's a good thing. And then at the highest level on our chart, there is the level of self-actualization. And this is where we actually get to have fun and be creative. We are good at solving problems. We are at reaching our highest potential because we're thinking way beyond our whatever those other basic needs are, right? So once you reach this highest level, you're at a place where you're ready to kind of take off and go into dream zone and take things beyond just the regular existence. And of course, having great, wonderful, supportive relationships sets you up to where you're free to do that because you have all these other basics in place. So, my goal when I work with people is always to get them to that level. That's where I want everybody that I work with. My goal is to help people to reach their highest potential. So because I work with people who are dating a lot, I use a lot of that dating language, but I want to tell you that everything I'm going to share with you today, it's a universal concept, so you can use it no matter what. Can I see a show of hands in the room who's single? Yay! Handsome masculine guy. Yay! Okay. And so I'm assuming the rest of you committed?
I've been committed, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm very committed.
Okay, wonderful.
Dennis.
To everybody, I'm just kind of going to pass the room.
That's such a lovely couple over there on the left to your right, isn't it?
They are a beautiful couple. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about what is coaching because a lot of times when I say I'm a relationship coach, everybody says, oh, is that like therapy or is that like counseling? And it's a little bit different. Coaches take a different approach. It's a fairly new field. Life coaching is. It's only been around for about 20-25 years and it's kind of taken off in popularity in the last 5-7 years-ish. And what's different, and the reason I think that this coaching has taken off is because the world's kind of transforming at this time. You know, it's not the same world that our fathers and our grandfathers lived in. We're sort of in a situation like Tony here, who I'm really impressed with you, has found that you have to think a little bit outside of the box, right? Because the regular get a job and stay there for 30 years, it's not that world anymore. And so when coaches are working with people, they're really looking at you to help you bring you to your highest potential and think outside the box. And sometimes that means we change our thinking a little bit and change what we're doing a little bit and get into that creative zone where we can really take off. So I was really impressed when you shared that. This is your dream because that's pretty huge and it's cool. So at the core of coaching is that we actually believe that you are a fully capable being who's able to make decisions and take action towards achieving what you really want in your life. And that's a little bit different from the therapy counseling kind of approach. So I'm going to share with you a story about that. I actually recently was talking to this lady who was sharing with me that she was having some concerns in her marriage. And the concerns that she was having in her marriage was that her husband really enjoyed watching adult films, and she really was not okay with it. And so she went to a therapist, a family therapist, to get some help with this because it was creating conflict, you know, in their marriage. And so she went to the therapist, and the therapist said, there's nothing wrong with your husband doing that. That's totally fine. It's completely acceptable. But there is something wrong with you. And what's wrong with you is that you're bipolar. So this woman is like still having this problem, right? Because she's got this thing in her marriage that's not working. And now she's bipolar. So I don't know how many times she went back to that therapist, but then she went to another therapist because she wasn't real happy with the first one. And she went to another one, and the second therapist said basically the same thing, is that, well, actually, there's nothing wrong with your husband doing that, but good news is you're not bipolar, you're just really hormonal. Now, she's been to 2 therapists, and she's still sitting this problem, and the problem is we have conflict at home. It's causing problems in my marriage, and I want to resolve this issue. So the difference between what these therapists kind of do and the way that a coach would operate is we don't judge you. We don't judge your husband. We don't analyze you. We're not there to tell you what's wrong with you. We are there to support you, and in this case, to find ways to bring this couple together in a united way so they can nurture that relationship and overcome whatever the conflict is. So I wouldn't spend much time at all trying to analyze her or diagnose her. I would spend time focusing on this particular issue, what's the conflict it's creating, and how do we resolve it? Because I know that you can. And when you value your relationships, you want to. It's that simple. So it's a little bit different. How many of you have experienced bad relationships?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, okay. Everybody. Okay, so what makes a relationship bad? Does anybody want to share that thought? What makes it bad?
In a relationship with a Taurus.
Okay, a Taurus makes a relationship bad. That doesn't really tell us very much. What
For me,
about...
it does.
Okay, we know you have to stay away from a Taurus. But what makes it bad? What is it about it that makes it bad? Yes?
Lack of mutuality. Mutuality.
Sure, no, I mean, I understand what you're saying. So it's a lack of really connectedness, of coming together and seeing things eye to eye, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Right.
Equal contributions, even if it's in an intangible sense, just giving back, which fulfills the other as equality.
Right. Okay, so you want mutually supportive. Something
Yeah.
where there's mutual coming together and each is contributing
Right,
at the
if
same
it-
level. They're committed at the same level, you're supporting each other at the same level. That would be ideal.
Right, if it's not love, if it's not money, it's love. If it's not love or anything, it's efforts in any kind of contribution to help support the other if you're going through the ride together.
Yes, absolutely. So that would be ideal. So a bad relationship is kind of when you don't have that. And we can think of a lot of scenarios where you don't have that, right? Yes.
False belief system. False belief system.
False belief system. So like...
Lack of perspective.
Okay. Yes.
Different goals, different ideas about where this relationship should be. Different
Right.
ideas about what a relationship is.
Okay.
You know, conflict in basic understanding of what we're doing.
Totally. So you're not on the same page.
Yeah.
And in yours, you weren't on the same page either, the different beliefs, right? Is that what you're kind of talking about?
More like you can, well, I guess you can boil it down to that, but perspective changes when we gain truth.
Yes.
And oftentimes, there are lies that we believe,
Okay.
that all we need is that perspective to open up our mind, to think along a different train of thought. And it's that false belief system that keeps you not okay with what your husband's doing. You know, why is it that he's doing it, and why can't I join him with that? That can be a false belief system, a lack of perspective.
Sure. Okay. And that again comes back, I think, to a lot of what Tony was saying too, that coming together and that having that mutual connection.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I believe that there are a lot of people here that carry a lot of baggage, and you don't know it until you get into relationships.
Amen, Dennis.
It just happens one day.
That it shows
It
up.
could be 10 years down the road,
Right.
and all of a sudden it shows up. And, boy, you talk about conflict. And so, you know, I always thought that I'd be that private investigator for the relationship. Because you never know what you get into. She gave pilot recognition. I just didn't use her.
She knows, private investigator, there it is.
They did
Okay.
that.
So what are the effects on us when we experience these bad relationships? What do we kind of tend to do?
Withdraw.
Pull back, withdraw. That's right. We didn't like it. It was hurtful. We have pain. We don't want to experience that pain again. That pain sucks, right? It's no good. So we have a tendency to a little bit say, well, I'm not going to do that again, right? I don't want to do that again. That was painful. It hurt me. I don't want to experience that ever again. So we kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater here, because we're saying that now I can't find, or some people go into this, where they're saying I can't find someone who's going to meet all these needs, and therefore I'm not even going to try, or I don't even want to work at it, because it's too much work. I've had people say, no, relationships are too much work.
They are.
But the only time a relationship is too much work, really, is when we're putting a certain amount of energy and effort, love, and affection into it, and it's more than what we're getting out of it, or what we feel like we get out of it, right? So this is experience, right? We all want to feel safe, we all want to feel accepted, we all want to feel loved. And that's where we really want it to go. So when we take this stand, this pull back, where we're saying, well, I don't want to do this again, or that hurts too much, I don't want to go there, then we're really hurting ourselves. And what I encourage you to do is when you have a bad experience, whatever that bad experience may be, is to look for the blessing in the experience. Because if you look at your life, you will see that everything that happens to you takes you somewhere where you couldn't even imagine maybe that you needed to go. It gives you life lessons. It makes you stronger. It makes you bolder. It maybe teaches you things that you would never imagine that you needed to learn. And yet, from this bad experience that really hurt and was really painful, you gained so much. You gain so much strength and knowledge about yourself, and you get more clear. Like even when you've had those bad relationships, like what Tony was talking about, where you're not feeling like you're really connected with that person or equal. Now you know, you have all this knowledge now about you and where you want it to go next time, what you want to avoid and what you want to create, right? And that just takes you light years ahead. So all experience really is good, and the universe is really giving you a gift. So even when you're experiencing something bad, it's really for your benefit, somehow, somewhere down the line.
Yes.
So we choose to make changes within us, and we choose to learn and grow and take our whole lives to a higher level when we accept the blessing that came with it. So I'm going to share a little bit about my story. I'm going to try and make it really quick. I have my cue guy back here. Okay, in my story, my mom said, when I was young, she said, marry your best friend, you'll be happy for life, right? And so when I was in my 20s, I did. I married a really good friend, and we didn't have a lot in common, actually. He was at that time a very stable person. Actually, he was always a very stable person. If you look here on the chart, you'll see at level 2, I was kind of needing stability, right? So that's where I was at that time. So I decided to marry this man. He was a very good man, and we were really good friends, but he wasn't the love of my life. We didn't connect on every level. He really didn't understand me or kind of see me for who I really was, is what I felt. And so over time, what happens is, you know, when you marry someone that you only have a few things in common with, that over time it ends up that you kind of go this way a lot. Or you may grow spiritually, as she was pointing out. I didn't get your name. Veronica. So as it happens, that's what happened in my relationship. We kind of grew apart. We each had found different things that we were interested in. We really didn't come together. There wasn't a really deep connection. And so I reached this point in that relationship, of course, where now I was moving up to tier 3 here, and I was looking for that love and that belonging. Do you need anything? That would be great. Thank you. So I moved up to this level where that's what I was longing for. And eventually, my husband and I separated, but I was grateful for the lesson in that. And the lesson was I learned how to live harmoniously with somebody for 20 years that I really didn't have that much in common with. I learned what I sacrificed of myself in doing that. I learned a lot more about who I was and what I needed and what I was looking for going forward. And it put me in a much more empowered place, right? So I was grateful for the lesson. I don't have any, I don't harbor any ill feelings because I look at it and I go, you know, we're still friends today. But I look at it and I go, this was an amazing experience, and I learned a lot about me, about life, about how to have a marriage that, can function in a good way. So then, of course, I hadn't dated in 20 years, so that was scary. It's kind of scary when you haven't dated in 20 years, right? And I had never done any online dating or any of that. This is all kind of new stuff. And so I developed this process that I needed to do to protect myself. Really, it was actually to kind of talk to people so that I wasn't meeting someone that was a total stranger, and that I wasn't feeling like uncomfortable. And how do you find somebody that you connect with? Because who knows that magic trick, right? But somehow I managed to figure that one out, and I applied this process, and then I found an amazing man that some of you know, and the Muffin Man.
He's Greek too, by the way. I had to say that for him, on his behalf.
Amazing. Yes. And the difference, between being with somebody that I can manage a household with and being with someone that totally gets me, who understands me on a deeper level, who appreciates me for everything that I am, who's my best friend and who I feel completely safe with, it's huge. It's a gigantic difference. So I kind of see both sides of the story here, where you can have something that's working and it's okay, or maybe it's not so much working, and then you have something that's truly amazing. And I just want to see people get the truly amazing, because I believe it's possible. I've experienced that it's possible. So that's a good thing. So this is what drives my passion, is helping people to reach that same place. That's my dream. So just to say again about the experience, when you really appreciate and value and take the blessing that comes with the experience, it really does make the whole thing kind of appear to you in a whole new light. It opens you up and it gives you more empowerment, so you are strong and can go out there and create what it is you want next. So it's all good. Okay. Next thing, we have to talk to you about how we all need to get over ourselves. The studies and statistics have shown that we think approximately 60,000 thoughts in a day. And of those 60,000 thoughts that we think in a day, 80% of them are negative. And studies have also shown that 2 out of every 3 Americans suffers from low self-esteem. So if 2 out of every 3 Americans is having low self-esteem, and we're thinking 48,000 negative thoughts in a day, how many of those negative thoughts are pointed at us? Do you think? Probably quite a few, right?
Spend that much time thinking about you that much?
Not about me, about them. About themselves. It's not about me, right? It's about them. It's that we focus on what's wrong with us instead of what's right with us, So on my website and on my business card, I have this peacock feather. And do you know what the male peacock is doing when he's flashing his feathers and he's got his feathers?
Trying to attract the female.
He's trying to attract the female. He's got his feathers up and he's like, oh yeah, I'm hot, I know it. He's got no thought, like this guy in the back over here. He's got no thought whatsoever that there's anything at all wrong with him, because he knows he totally rocks and he's hot, he's rocking it. So I encourage you to be like the peacock. Instead of, if you're going out and you're getting in front of people, or if you're going on a date, instead of focusing on how, I don't look good in this dress, or, oh my gosh, I gotta sit right there and I just know everybody notices, you gotta think about what it is about you that makes you special. And it doesn't have to be necessarily what's on the outside, because really what makes us truly beautiful is what's on the inside. Is that we're each these amazing and unique people, and no one else is like you. You have your own qualities, characteristics, traits, things that you're interested in that make you completely unique and no one else is there. So you can get out there and you can rock it and flash your feathers and feel good about you. I'm going to share a story about that. I have a What does that mean?
That's the 10-minute, oh, you know the universal sign for speakers, that's the minute warning left on the presentation. That's a 10-minute
Oh, no, 'cause
warning.
I got my little thingy going.
Oh, you do?
I'm watching.
Oh.
I got this.
I got about
Thank you.
15 minutes.
You do?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. Okay. So I got this story about this lady that I was working with her, and she just started dating again, and she was having, one day she just decided I'm gonna go out dancing. So she likes to go out and dance. She didn't have a partner to go out dancing, she wasn't on a date, she just wanted to go out and dance. And she gets to the dance club, and she looks around, and what she sees is there's all these beautiful, perfect, skinny, gorgeous 20-somethings in slinky little dresses, and they're out there dancing on the dance floor, and she goes, okay, for a minute there, she had that checking in with herself. She's like, oh, I don't think so. I don't feel too good about this. I don't think I measure up. I don't think I'm good enough. How am I going to attract anybody? And then she took a minute and she stopped and she I was really proud of her for doing this. She stopped and she looked back at some of the things that we had talked about what made her unique and special, and how she was her own special, unique person. And she thought to herself, those girls, those beautiful, skinny girls, they don't have my experience, they don't have my knowledge, they don't have my spirit. No, they're not me. And she realized in that moment that they don't compare to her. Not that she doesn't compare or live up to them, but that they're not her. And she is her own special person. So she got out and she danced the night away. She had a great time. She had lots of people coming up and asking her to dance. And at the end of the evening, this one gentleman, and he was a gentleman, he walked her to her car safely, did not try to hit on her, but escorted her safely to her car to make sure she could get home safely, and asked for her phone number. So what happens is when we kind of tap into who we really are and what it is that makes us shine, we're doing things that we just love to do, it actually brings out our sparkle. So we start to shine. And when people see your sparkle, they're attracted to that. They go, ooh, I want to talk to you. Look, you're shiny. Let me go talk to you. So when we do this, it creates like a magnetic force that attracts people to us. So I say, if you're not clear on what it is that makes you amazing and special and awesome, then you should talk to me, because I can help you figure that out. Sometimes it's hard for us to see it for ourselves, because we can't really see what makes us amazing or what makes us different. And sometimes just having someone else who can hold up that mirror to you and show you how beautiful you really are, it makes all the difference. Okay, I have to say a side note for married folks, and that is, take some time. I just encourage you all to acknowledge yourself and really stand tall and flash your feathers, but do this for your partners as well. When you have someone in your life that's really special to you, when you take the time to communicate to them what it is that makes them amazing. And I'm not talking just about a compliment, because you can pay someone a compliment, hey, nice shirt, but that's not really as much of a turn on as telling them something about them, some beautiful quality that you see that makes them shiny and sparkly to you. It could be that they have a silly sense of humor that is just unique to them. It could be that they're really gentle with the children and that you so appreciate that. Or it could be something like, hey, I really appreciate how much you support me when I go out and do my business. It's just those things that make all the difference when we acknowledge our partner for that. And I know I'm running low on time, so I'm going to wrap up real quick. I just encourage you to do that. Okay, so intention. We're going to talk about setting intention for the highest purpose, right? And I talked a little bit about when we're in that highest level there, where we're meeting our highest potential, that self-actualization level. When it comes to finding the right partner, knowing what you want makes it easier, it makes it simpler, and it makes it fun. There are advantages and disadvantages to having relationships with someone who just kind of shows up. On the one hand, they just happen to be there. It's convenient. You have somebody you can go out with, someone you can do things with. This is what a lot of people do, is they kind of end up going with someone who's there at the right time, and maybe they have some of the right needs that you're looking for at that moment. But ultimately, down the line, they haven't gone into all the details about what's really important to them. And so when you have a clear intention and you say, this is what I want, and this is where I want this to go, this is one of the things Barbara was talking about earlier, and then it sets for you a clear direction, and you don't need to waste your time on these people who don't qualify, who don't meet that expectation, right? So I tell everybody, don't settle. You should definitely not settle. No one is you. You're the only one of you that there is. And so you deserve the best for you. So focus on what's important. Well, you know, if you were out on a date or talking to somebody, focus on, some of the important things that people never talk about even before they get married is like, do you want to have children? What about religion? I've talked to people who have had different religions, and it's created rifts in their relationship, because when you're dating someone, it's okay, but when you're married to them, you've made a lifelong commitment, now it's not okay. So these are some things to be really clear about before you get there. So I talked to a friend of mine who had gone on 200 first dates. She was very determined. She was looking for something special. I know. Can you imagine the amount of time?
That's more events I go to per year.
I don't even know how long it went. I know she was counting and it was 200. And what made all the difference in the world to her was when she sat down, she got really, really clear about what it is she wanted. When she had a very clear intention about what she wanted in a mate, in this person, actually he showed up immediately.
So she was kind of picky, you're saying?
She knew she was herself, and nobody should. So it's okay for her to be picky, right?
Sure, if you want to be, yeah.
So it's really good.
She's looking for her soulmate.
That's true.
That's
true.
right. And that's
There's
important.
only one soulmate.
One person.
That's right. And it's perfect when you get to find them. So
If
it's a
you need to be
wonderful thing.
picky, you need to be picky.
Another 200, she's doing the 200.
As soon as the thing is that as soon as she made some of these changes within her thinking and got really clear about it, and it was the very next step, and she's married to him now, and she's ecstatically happy. Can't even tell you some of the stories I hear about that, but it's all good, right? So ideally, you want to be very clear about what your intentions are before you get married, if possible. But if not, you can, if you find yourself in a relationship and maybe you're feeling like, this wasn't exactly what I thought I wanted, then you can still set intentions now to take that relationship to a higher level. And it's all about how you're addressing your partner and how you're thinking about the relationship. So when you say, I value this relationship, it's really important to me, and you say, like before you complain to your partner, before you go on attack, you know how some people do that, they'll attack. Oh, you left your clothes on the floor, you dirty dog, how dare you, right? You've heard that? Maybe not.
Sean tired.
I don't know if you do that, but I do know that.
I call lots of things.
A lot of people
Sean tired.
A lot of people have a tendency to attack first and then think about the results later. So I just say that if you're in a relationship now, think about how you can nurture that relationship with every conversation that you have, with every incident that occurs. So maybe you are upset about the clothes on the floor, but there's a way to nurture your relationship and come from the intention that it's more important to me that we have a close connection and that we have a good bond than it is to attack you right now and make you feel small. Because when I do that to you, when I attack you or make you feel bad about the clothes on the floor, it breaks trust. And when the trust is broken, eventually it ends up destroying your marriage. So when I work with new clients, this is one of the first things that I do, is we always talk about the intention, where you want it to go, what you want to create, what do you want it to look like. And what happens here is they get powerful shifts from maybe fear and doubt about, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'll ever find the guy, I don't know if he's, if I'm good enough. Then we shift from that to a place of complete empowerment, where you're totally certain and self-assured, and you know exactly what you're going to do and you take the next step. Okay, so today, we're getting low on time, so I'm going to wrap it up. Today, I've talked about needs and motivations of humans, and I put on the back of that chart some questions for you that you can take home and fill out and think about for yourself, about where you are and what you need. We talked about shifting our thinking around our experiences, how we need to accept the blessings and be grateful for everything that comes our way, how we get to support ourselves by flashing our feathers and knowing that we totally rock and there's nobody like you, and we can take that out there and shine out to the world. And also the importance of setting intentions and being clear about what we want, and being clear for the greatest good as well when we're in our relationships. So, you ready to take your relationships to a higher level?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, on the last page, I have the feedback form. I would really love it if you guys would fill that out, complete the feedback form. I'd love to hear from you. And for those of you who would like a complimentary session, I offer one. And, I'm also looking for people who are single and searching. So if you know, I'm looking to actually interview 100 people. So if you have some friends, know some groups, let me know. Okay? You can email me. She's giggling one.
No, it's saying who I should put the name on the bottom.
I know somebody.
I just missed it.
Okay, so any questions? Yes.
Do we even require a relationship?
Do you even require a relationship? Do you?
Yeah, I mean, going through life, say you just slam dunk, you crash and burn, you never found anybody. And it always seemed to kind of set you back, so you say, forget it. My relationship is with my network, my friends, my people, everything else like that.
Yeah.
There's people I think that do it later in life, but do you require a relationship as your foundation for support? Or are people lying to themselves to move forward and succeed, or are they lucky?
Do you think that they're lying to themselves if they're looking for a relationship?
Whether they needed somebody or don't need somebody?
I think that you know that in and of yourself, whether or not you need somebody. I do know that having a partner who supports you, accepts you the way you are as your best friend, takes care of you when you're sick, holds you when you're down, it's priceless. There's nothing like it. And those of you who've experienced good relationships know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
It's a priceless experience, and it will support you in everything in your life. So would I tell you that you need to have a relationship right now? I wouldn't tell you that, because you know where you are in your life more than I do. And I grant people that space. I don't judge for you.
So it's a heck of an asset.
It is a heck of an asset.
That's a good way to look at it.
It is.
Hey,
And it
how do you
will,
fight on that?
it lifts you up.
But wasn't there something that I think Rosie pointed out last time, that there's been a study done by Stanford, that for men, having a relationship, a male and female relationship, does help them become more successful and more fulfilled.
That's right.
Whereas with a woman, the more important thing is to have female friends who share on a different level than simply just a male-female.
That's what she
That's
cited
what
that
the study
Stanford
said.
study.
Now, whether that applies to you or not remains to be seen. You know, I know my husband will say.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything, but
Married men live longer also.
married people live longer.
No, married men live longer.
Okay, the studies I've shown say that married people
Live longer than other men.
Yes.
Okay. Whereas married women may or may not, because they're busy taking care of their married men.
Oh, really? We just went there.
Married man is taking care of the woman.
Gee.
Good too,
There's
right?
equality there.
Right?
No.
There is that whole coming together and having that
So
mutual
is this one
support
of these free
system.
consultations or you?
I wouldn't expect anything less from Maureen than an answer like that. Yeah.
I know I do those individually, because it's really about the person. It's really about serving you.
It just sounded like the group was getting.
Oh, we're just having a good time.
Wow.
Anybody else? I thought it was fun, yes.
Oh, I had a question. Do you actually help your
your clients to get out there and I mean, where did young single people go? Is it online dating services, churches, grocery stores? Where
Okay, I
do
love
people
this
get out to
question.
meet?
Thank you, yes. I help them develop a social strategy, so it really depends on the individual, what their interests are, what motivates them in their life, and then we create a social strategy around that to get them out there and meeting those people. Absolutely. Anybody else? Yes?
Well, I just have to compliment you because I went through one of your free strategy sessions.
Yes.
And I think you found out that I did myself pretty good. It was a reaffirmation for me where I was going.
Yes. T-Bird was very, very clear. He had very clear intention, and he actually